I had been a student.
Oh, it's a psychologist that testified before. Yeah. You're just a dumb ape. I am. It's always funny. I always say I'm a dumb idiot, and then people will turn around and be like, "You're a dumb idiot, dude." It's like, yeah, I know. I said it. I said it first. You can't turn around and fucking say the same thing.
And what did you say
Okay,
in
here's the
response when
highlights.
Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny."
Wait, what the fuck? There's a full recap from April 26th, dog. I don't want the full recap. I want today's highlights.
Thank you. Your motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I can only assume that Mr. Chu wrote that speech for an audience outside the court because it didn't really address my arguments. I'm going to focus on what our specific arguments are for the motion to strike, Your Honor. Mr. Chu spent almost 30 minutes of the court's time talking about the disputed evidence of physical abuse in this case, which Ms. Heard hasn't even put on her case, and I can tell you she's not the abuser, and if the case moves forward, she and her witnesses will put on even more evidence of the physical abuse she suffered at the hands of Mr. Depp. But that's not the basis for our motion right now, Your Honor. He talks about how Mr. Depp had a sworn denial, and that should count. We read his testimony. He claims he didn't strike her. But again, that's not the basis for our motion. The basis for our motion is the clear and undisputed evidence of non-physical abuse. By his definitions, by his standards, by the standards of his expert, there is no dispute that Mr. Depp abused Amber. And therefore, if he did it even one time, there is no dispute that even under their theory of the case, the implication that they want the jury to draw from the article, which again, I'm not arguing for the purposes.
He's not wrong, for the record, even though Johnny Depp's team is saying, okay, Johnny Depp's team is saying that it is defamation to consider him to be someone who is abusive, a wife abuser, someone who did domestic abuse to Amber Heard. But the reality is, and also what his own couples counselor said, was that there was at least some level of mutual abuse. And if you were to do a debate pervert style fucking argument, you could technically say, although Amber Heard is responsible for the overwhelming majority of abuse, specifically acts of physical violence towards Johnny Depp, there was at least one instance in which Johnny Depp was the first abusive person in the physical party, which would then ultimately mean that you can't say there is, you can't say that like it's a complete fabrication to say that Johnny Depp was not abusive in any capacity. And for the record, the physical act of the physical abusive act that I'm referencing is actually the first one, the private jet incident. Not only is it mutual, however, but it's mostly on top of everything else Amber Heard's fault for routinely picking fights and not letting Johnny Depp leave. And also on top of that, like escalating to acts of physical confrontation, specifically so Johnny Depp is reacting to that level of physical escalation with physical abuse himself. And in all of those situations, I don't think Johnny Depp is responsible for it. She is the instigating party. But if you're going to be technical about it, yes, his own people did openly admit that. His own witnesses, including the marriage counselor, does admit that there is mutual and reactive abuse, therefore implying that Johnny Depp at a certain point throughout the relationship has actually engaged in abuse. Okay? So, for the record though, I think that this court case is more so about what we're doing right now, which is looking at all of the fucking singular individual instances of abuse and parsing through the information while also taking Johnny Depp's side and understanding Johnny Depp's side as a victim rather than the immediate fucking villain of the story. And in the past, we had only looked at it as Johnny Depp's the villain, Amber Heard is the victim here, or people didn't even care about it, right? So even if it's not legally defamation, right? Even if he loses the defamation suit, he was never going to win over $50 million. Amber Heard doesn't have $50 million in awards to give Johnny Depp anyway. This is about correcting the record. So understand that I think Johnny Depp's ultimate goals of basically changing, basically fucking changing the public attitude about how he was a wife beater and how, you know, he fucking beat the shit out of Amber Heard and how he was abusive. Like Johnny Depp's press or Johnny Depp's PR is dramatically shifting. Johnny Depp's attitude in the public consciousness is dramatically shifting away from him being like the wife beater to someone who was actually a victim of domestic violence. And I do agree. I think that he was a victim of domestic violence, and I do think that he deserves to correct the record on this matter. So yes, I do think that even though he loses this defamation suit in the end, probably, and if he won the defamation suit, I would be surprised and also openly state that, like, it's kind of, you know, the judge there definitely offered a lot of leniency to Johnny Depp's defense team, right? The ultimate goal is still to do this. Straight up. We doing incel shit now? I mean, this isn't just incel shit. Saying that this is incel shit is basically openly admitting that, like, incels are the only ones who are talking about this and should talk about this, and no one else that talks about this can have a serious take on the matter. You know what I mean? It's not good. You offer too much to Amber? I do not. I think she is a bad person. I think she is an abusive partner. I think she also went so far as to utilize the relationship that she was in with Johnny Depp to turn around and fucking to attack him and to continue the legally speaking. I think what happened with the Sun when the Sun article came out, I think she used that as an opportunity to extend the relationship with Johnny Depp in the same way that she had time and time again in fights. Because whenever Johnny Depp wanted like a post-nuptial agreement, or whenever Johnny Depp wanted to fucking get out of the relationship, she literally fought with him. Right? She fought with him to continue the relationship, to continue the dynamic, to continue the back and forth. And I think like her siding with the Sun and saying like, no, I was a victim of domestic abuse, and like here are all the fucking instances after that amicable split, implies not that she was a fucking brave hero, okay? Not that she was a brave hero, but implies that I think she just wanted to have like one last go at it, you know, be across from him in a fucking court and be in his life in some meaningful capacity. Which is, once again, I think something that an abusive partner would do, that like refuses to let go. The PR damage has been done. No amount of record change will fix that. I disagree. I completely disagree. I think that it's not getting a lot of play in mainstream media, but holy fuck, dude. Holy fuck. I mean, the internet and all matter of independent media is like nonstop covering this. My friend, XQC was covering this, and so was Asmongold on this platform alone. XQC had 120,000 people watching him. Watch a fucking court case. The fuck does XQC know about the legal process or domestic violence? Are you fucking insane, dude? And 120,000 people were watching him. And I'm telling you right now, like, I'm sure plenty of people were watching Ludwig too. Like, you know, that's no, people fucking care about this shit. Like 100%. More people were watching this shit than they were that they give a fuck about fucking abortion laws. You know what I mean? Like, you're crazy. Depp is going to have a role in a Marvel movie lineup within a year. I mean, I don't really care about what kind of roles he might have, but I like some of the XQC streams. What the hell does he know about laws? I mean, yeah. I mean, my mind is what's changed. I thought Amber Heard hate was just incel redditorship, but now I more or less agree with your take. So, yeah, I think like stop making fun of XQC. He is so smarter than you give him credit for. Wait, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm the one who says that. Shut up, idiot. You can't come in here and be like, no, I think XQC is very smart. I say it all the time. Yeah, I mean the OG video for this on YouTube had like 250,000 people watching live.
Of today, because under the legal standard, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to waste.
I think XG is smart, but that doesn't mean he's like, super knowledgeable about domestic violence statutes or whatever. You know what I mean?
The court's time with that. But even under their standard, the undisputed evidence is that Mr. Depp did commit abuse against Ms. Heard, and therefore that those first two statements were false. That's our argument on that.
Wouldn't even
As to the headline,
be honest about it.
It's funny, Mr. Chu. We played 2 or 3 hours of an ACLU deposition. And now he says, well, that wasn't our witness. It was his witness, Your Honor. He just spent 10 minutes talking about what Mr. Doherty said, and Mr. Doherty testified that the Washington Post wrote the headline. That is the only evidence, Your Honor. I understand he says, well, Exhibit 1 has her name on it. Exhibit 1 has her name on it. But the only evidence in this case about who wrote that headline is Mr. Doherty's testimony. It is undisputed. They could have put anyone else on. They could have called Ms. Heard for that because that was not part of the stipulation at the pretrial conference. It was only the tweet that we talked about, Your Honor, and they chose not to do that. Now, Ms. Heard will testify she didn't write that headline, so it wouldn't have helped them. But they've had 3 weeks to put on their case, Your Honor. They've controlled the playing field.
I want to hear accusations from Amber Heard's psychologist today. Because from what I understand, it's time. And they were pretty fucking severe, apparently.
There is no dispute that Ms. Heard did not write that headline. No dispute. Simply saying, well, her name is attached